Vigilante Williamson here with a very simple question. That is, do you still want to see Wilder and Joshua after all this time, after seeing them both fall off? I still do. I still do, just for giggles and spits, so to speak. But I can understand if you don't. I mean, there was a lot of smoke from these two, especially in that era of boxing internet where, you know, you were either a Wilder fan or you were a Joshua fan. There were a lot of people who fell for that. And we never got the fight when they were both champions in their prime, undefeated, when we should have got it. The curse of everyone trying to be Mayweather definitely hurt that. Deontay Wilder deserves his share of blame. He had a $100 million offer, or $120 million, depending on which offer. I think it was two different offers for him to fight Joshua twice. And the $120 million would have gave him $20 million for the Brazil fight that he had scheduled at the time, which I don't know if he could have got out of that. There's contracts and stuff like that. He may not have been able to get out of that Brazil fight, but at least $100 million for $50 million a fight for two fights he should have did. I think everyone can say that. Now, I've also heard the argument. It's on a video on a different channel, my Vigilante Williamson Vengeance channel, which was the sports channel, to decide to roll everything on to this one. Where I blame both of them. I give some, or at least both camps, because I always feel like if somebody's asking you for 50-50 and then you come up with a number, they're going to know that number is less than 50-50. And so I think even though DAZN was the one who negotiated, maybe Eddie Hearn or DAZN, they kind of wanted to pique the curiosity. They knew how Wilder worked. And listen, Wilder ducked a lot of smoke. Let's not kid ourselves. And he ducked a lot more smoke than AJ did. Let's not kid ourselves. I'm not trying to say that. But he was also dangerous. He was also very dangerous, and that right hand scared a lot of people. So all that said, I can't help but to feel like instead of just saying, you know what, fuck it, 50-50, let's get it in, let's just get the fight. They offered him a number. They knew what he was going to do because they already knew he was greedy, or at least his team was very greedy, even though they had never made that money. You know what I mean? I didn't mean to relive it, but I can't help but to relive it, right? So Wilder should have took the money, and there's an argument that maybe they should have just tossed 50-50, at least for one fight, just to get it done. They both, I think, had a little, at least both camps were scared of the other one getting knocked out, or scared of they guy getting knocked out. I still feel that. I can't necessarily say the fighters, especially on Joshua's side where he's taking a lot of smoke. In any event, I'm not here to talk about the past, even though we just spent 3 minutes doing so. Let's talk about the present. Presently, neither guy is the guy you thought he was. Wilder, you know, has been losing his last few fights. I think he's only like one of his last 4. Joshua was doing a little bit better. I mean, yeah, he had the 2 losses to Usyk, but outside of that, until Dubois just beat the snot out of him, he was doing pretty good. He had that Franklin fight, he had the Wallin, and he had the Ngannou fight, and everyone thought Ngannou was a world beater for what he did to Fury. And he went through those fights. Now, ironically enough, Franklin, and I remember talking about this on stream, he's such a good fighter, he's never going to get fights. He was the best out of the 3. He offered the most smoke out of the 3. He was the best boxer. Shout out to Saginaw. I think I had him in Detroit. He's not from Detroit, he's from Saginaw. Michigan's a big place. Shout out to the home state. But still, you know, he's a good fighter, and you haven't seen him on cards because he's a good fighter. That said, Joshua got through him. Got through Wallin, got through Ngannou, which a lot of people didn't think he might, because Ngannou is such a powerful puncher, even though it was only his second boxing match. His first boxing match was with the heavyweight champion, and he damn near beat him. I thought he did beat him, and I'm not the only one. So a lot of people thought that might be a smoky fight, and he got through it. And so they're not quite at the same place. They feel like they're in the same place, you know, just a day or two after Dubois beat the hell out of Joshua, but they're not quite. Joshua still has a little bit left in the tank. I'm not sure if he can still be a top level, world level fighter anymore, but he still has a world level competitor. You know, he's still at that level where Wilder is not. But I think there will still be some perverse interest in just seeing the fight, just to see it. They'll lose a lot of money if they would have just made the fight. That's the thing. That's why I kind of blame both sides again. Going back to where I started earlier. They both have lost a lot of money. If they would have just taken the other's offer, They would have made more money than they would make on the fight now. They would probably have made more money than they've made. Well, I say that Joshua's gotten a few Saudi paydays, and hell, so did Wilder, ironically, on Matchroom. So, all that said, they would have made way more money if they would just accepted the other one's offer. So that's why they both deserve a little bit of blame. You want to do Wilder 60-40, 70-30, I'm cool with that. I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? Neither one of them is going to come to my house like, Vigilante, oh, man, you short of your bills. I got you, bro. So, I mean, I don't really give a fuck. But I think they both were to blame for this fight not happening. But do you still want to see it? Wilder is definitely, would not be the favorite, where he might have been the favorite, depending on if this fight would have happened at a different time. Wilder doesn't even look like he's that interested in boxing, to be honest. Joshua, I don't know what it is. I think with both of them, neither one of them were real boxers. And when I say that, I'm not saying, obviously they're incredible boxers relative to what they are, but they didn't grow up boxing. And as a result, they both had inconsistencies. That's why Joshua lost this fight. It's like, wait, I've seen you fight better than this. But he's inconsistent because it's not ingrained in him. You can't learn boxing like that. You can at 19, 20, but it's not quite the same. You know what I'm saying? It's not quite the same as somebody who had been doing this since 12 years old, since 10 years old, since 8 years old. So many fundamentals are ingrained. And that's why both Wilder and Joshua, no matter how high their ceiling could have been, their floor was so much lower than the average fighter because they hadn't fought their whole lives. They both came into fighting late. That's what she said. And so that's the problem. That's the problem with both of them. That's why Joshua's defense is so inconsistent. It's like, why are you backing up directly straight in line? Don't they tell you that? They told me that at some shitty boxing little rec center in the middle of nowhere, Michigan, not to back up straight in line because you get hit. You need to back up to the side, either, circle to your right or your left, depending on your hand. So if they taught me this in a shitty rec center in the middle of nowhere gym in fucking Michigan, I'm sure in Watford, they let you know. Shit, maybe as much shit was talked about Rob McCracken for him, brilliant AJ. The fundamentals matter. And it looked like Ben Davison was the right choice for Joshua when he was knocking people out, but the fundamentals matter. Him not backing up outside of backing up straight, that's a huge reason why he got called by Dubois. But, it is what it is. It didn't shit. Let's not get into Wilder. He's barely, outside of that right hand. I don't want to say barely a boxer, but that's why I started to say, man, it just is what it is. But I've been rambling too long. Do you still want to see this fight? I do, but I understand if you don't. I understand if you just say fuck them both after all this bullshit. Because part of me understands that. Part of me feels that way. But just for closing out this era, just to see it, just to say we saw it, even if it wasn't in their prime, I still want to see Joshua and Wilder. But what about you? You let me know in the comments. Peace.